How's it going, everybody? Mike here, and welcome back to another video. Today in this video I have finally completed one of the biggest projects of my life on Minecraft, and I am super excited to show you what it is. And that project, of course, was this dirt house. Look at this shit. This dirt house, it's taken me so long. It's taken like 2 months for me to build this dirt house, and I'm very happy with how the designs worked out. You know, it's functional with a door. You know, it's quite spacious, quite roomy, and all in all, I think it's a pretty nice living space. If you guys can and have noticed already, I am playing with ray tracing, as I recently got a brand new computer, so I will be playing Minecraft with ray tracing from now on. Just cause, dude, it looks insane. But in all honesty, that dirt house definitely was not my big project. Over here is where my big project is, and I will show you it all in full in this clip I'm about to play now.
Thought I better love you better, 'cause you're all I know, oh, you're all I need. But it's complicated, I'm my own safe haven, and it's not the way you believe. And I'm stuck in between what I know and what I feel. Why are we so unsteady, baby? Tell me, and you see right through me, but you still know what I need. Why are we so unsteady? Tell me. Like a single flame, baby, light the way. We don't need to think about who to blame. It's just so complicated. Promises keep breaking, and I hate that you are all I need. And I'm stuck in between.
So upon watching that clip, you guys might be thinking, so what's this entire world about? Well, I'm glad, well, if some of you are asking, did ask that question, I am glad you have asked. This world was, basically came up as a concept which I turned into a reality over a 2-month period. And that epiphany I had was, why don't I recreate every house from every world I've got from the 360 all the way up to Minecraft Xbox One to Minecraft Windows 10 edition, which is what I have done here. So this is every single one of my builds I've done. Well, not every single one of my builds, that would be a lie, but every single build on every world I own. Just because obviously I don't have access to the builds and the files of builds I would have done on, say, H's, aka MW3 Shots, is worlds. So this is everything of what I have got saved. So without further ado, I thought it would be nice to show you where it all began, because I'd like to say I'm a decent builder, but I've not always been able to build houses such as this one, or details as this windmill, or this house or that castle, we all had to start somewhere. And where everything started for me was here. This is the very first house I ever made on Minecraft. It's quite a small house, but it served its purpose. I wouldn't say it's the worst house to start off with, but I wouldn't say it's the best. On that world over here, I would have had an automatic cobblestone generator, hence the obsidian on top, but I didn't want to go through and redo all the redstone because of how outdated it was, so I just left it. Also, I should probably mention that all the grass and scenery you see here, I placed all of this by hand, hence why it took so long. I terraformed this entire world, as I will show you now. So all this was built on top of a desert, and I've terraformed this entire thing, so everything you see on top of here has been hand placed. So it took a very, very, very long time, and I would appreciate it if you guys would show your support and give me a thumbs up on this video, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, as I try and make builds such as this, like challenges, just for your entertainment. Doing this build has had me wanting to rip my hair out on multiple occasions. I placed that many grass blocks for an entire day, that's all I could say. So yeah, I would really appreciate it if you guys could show your support. But enough of being a sellout, and let's get into it. So that was my very first house I ever made. And this is how it was. It was just a tiny little village. Tiny little village. And not much happened on that world. And then I believe, yeah. So this was the second house I ever made. It was slightly taller, but still nothing great. It was very basic, very self-explanatory. And there's not much to see. By the way, you might see these blocks every now and then. All these are they're blocks from where I've had to restore the world after losing it a few times, and the files have got corrupted. So these blocks are just corrupted blocks, if you guys were wondering, because I know I'll have a lot of comments asking about those. Over here, this weird looking house actually holds a very special place in my heart, because this is the first house that I made as a collaboration house on survival, and it's also the first house where I ended up making a community of with a bunch of different Minecraft players at the time, where we all got together, started building houses, mining, and made a huge community. So this house would always have a big place in my heart. In the same world I made that house, I also ended up creating this one here. It looks kind of like an hourglass, but weird at the same time. And I also created this kind of sand temple, if you will. I wouldn't call this a castle, or too small to be a castle, so I'd say a sand temple. A lot of these builds have no interior. I'm mostly an exterior builder, not an interior one. Just so you guys know. And then from there, what else can I give you a tour of? Like this, there's just so much to speak about. Right, okay. This build was just a concept I have of like making a flat house with a bunch of corridors that link into different rooms. I don't know why I decided to do this, but remember, this was years ago. Like, I think this house was created back when creative was new to Minecraft, and yeah, back when creative was new to Minecraft, and they only just, well, I wouldn't say new, I'd say like when they've only just added anvils to Minecraft, that's when this house was made. So what was going through my head back then, I don't know, but it's a strange build, but effective. I think this over here was the first kind of abstract, I wouldn't even call it abstract, but at the time this was my first abstract build I ever did on survival Minecraft. Not much going on in here, but I thought it was quite a cool build, which is why I've included it. Where to go from here? Oh, there's so much to show. Over here, this odd looking castle was the very first castle I've ever made on Minecraft. My first like big scale project was this castle, so it holds a special place in my heart. And if you're wondering why there's random doors on the doors up here, it's because to get to the top I used to use the door glitch just to get all the way up here, which is why they've got doors. Down here, I think this was just a random build, just a random house, because I wanted to start expanding around the castle. Excuse me. This strange looking build I remember was a challenge off of my good mate MW3 Shots. He challenged me to make a house using this block palette, and this is what I came out with. Let's see, what's this? This is another weird design. I don't know why I had an obsession with doing this with glowstone back then, but I wouldn't say it looks the worst, and it did usually give quite good lighting, but with the ray tracing, for some reason glowstone doesn't seem to give off light, which is a little bit strange. Maybe they'll fix that in a future update on ray tracing. And back here is just another house that I made. And undergoing this project, I also undergo my very first modern style house, which is all the way over here. This was my very first attempt of a modern house, and I've got to say, even now I wouldn't say this is a bad design, considering that I made this probably around about when I was 12, 13, so quite a few years ago, but I still wouldn't say it's a very bad house at all. Close those doors. I'm trying to go from like the oldest to the newest, hence why I'm skipping between builds. Yes, this house over here, this was my, I think this is this was on the world of one of the last worlds I ever did a build with my older brother, Phantom Mites or Swearing Mites, whatever he's going by these days. But yeah, this was like the very first, very last build I ever did with him, and I'm just trying to find Where is it? End rods, there we go. Just so I'm able to see. So yeah, the interior wasn't the worst. Like, I think I spent most of my time doing the flooring rather than the design. I had a little hot tub over here. I did have redstones for like a secret under the stairs kind of like storage where I would have kept my valuables such as diamonds, but considering it's such a long time ago, the redstone was severely outdated, so you wouldn't be able to use it now. Upstairs, yes, usually this would have been lit up by the glowstone, but like I said, with ray tracing, glowstone for some reason doesn't admit any light, and this was where my bedroom was. It's a very simple interior design, but I liked it just because, like I said, it was one of the very last builds me and my brother ever did together. Well, we didn't do it together, but this was my build I did on the Worlds, which was the very last one me and him spent time on the 360 together. I think this is one of the worlds I spent like the most time on. I started up this world when the Quartz update very first came out on Minecraft, hence why a lot of the builds around here are Quartz based. So hence why that's Quartz based, that's Quartz, that's Iron and Quartz, which I think this was MW3 Shots' base, I believe, which is quite a nice design if you ask me, like a pyramid design, like an abstract pyramid. But I think this is one of my favourite houses I've ever made, just because of the simplicity of it, as well as like like I just think it's a nice looking house, very simplistic and realistic to make on survival. So this house does hold, like, all these builds I hold close to my heart, because a lot of time has gone into the amount of builds I have in this area. Over here is a blacksmith I ended up creating way back when. A very simple design. It did have a place going underwater into like an underwater dome back here, but I could not be asked rebuilding it. You guys have no idea how much time this world took to do, so please don't beat me up if some things are left out. There we go. So we got that. There's also this monstrosity of a build. Me and H just wanted to do a build that was we wanted to try and reach the build height limit, but then we didn't make the base of it big enough. We literally was like, oh yeah, let's try and reach build height. So that's what we went for. It wasn't for aesthetics, it was literally just for build height. And then this was a similar design with that, but we wanted to rebuild it with a little bit more detail, and this is what we came out with. Like I said, a lot of the builds, no interior at all. And then I also have, by the way, these mountains over here, I built these by hand as well. So like I said, a lot of work went in. This build was probably created back in like 2013, 2014. Just me, H, and the boys on my birthday. They came over. We played split screen and made this house. We didn't do much because we were literally just on it for a few hours. So Yeah, I don't think it was a bad design at all, just if it was expanded upon, it would have looked a lot better. Over here, I think, yeah, this was the last village design I ever did, and this was back when... Oh, when was it? Back when desert temples were brand new to Minecraft. That's when this world was made. This was my little house. There was an area to go down. There was a place to go down here where there was a chest room. My bed was here. Very simplistic, and I think the chest room went from under to about here. So I had a little bit of storage. That was H's house, hence the H on top. And I cannot remember for the life of me who built the rest of these, but this was the very last village I made, and I still find this cute as a little chicken coop that I made, because this used to be my chicken farm. I still find that quite funny. And over here is the last survival map that I ended up survival build I ended up doing on the 360. My very last survival build. I just found a cave and decided to reshape it and then just make it look nice. I couldn't be asked doing the back wall just because you guys can see the gist of what it was meant to look like. And then going from that, if we go all the way back over here, god. So if you go all the way back over here, this was my second to last Minecraft survival build. To be honest, I don't. It doesn't look the best, but I spent most of my time on the inside of this rather than the outside, and I think the inside looks a lot better. And plus, I just wanted the space for when I did redstone contraptions, but never did anything with this build, sadly. Which brings me back to over here. This is the very... this section here was the last world I ever created on the Xbox 360. So I created this house as I was thinking like if we could get a bunch of people on turn it into a survival world and have like so each section here would have been my designated office to a certain role within the world, and then keep all the documents in the main section here. And then I got bored and made a castle, and because I am mental, instead of doing the normal thing and leaving it hollow, I decided to basically make it all one solid structure, which took a lot longer than it should have. So those are all the 360 builds. Which brings me to this build over here. So if you guys are familiar with my channel, you might have remembered me doing a series called HS Let's Play. I said on one of the episodes that I went on to Creative World and built a house for that series, and this would have been said house, but H decided to stop the series, so you guys never were able to see it. So this is what it would have looked like. I spent a lot of time doing it. Like I think, yeah, I even spent time doing interior as well. Like, this wasn't just me doing the interior, it was H and Blue Morpho, aka Corey. This would have been the storage room. But the exterior was mostly me. I did have some help off the boys, but I was on it a lot of the time, just doing me. So what this is a close design to the back of my my hoodie on my skin, and then I had an area up here for you know, when you want to blaze it. It was the smoking room, hence like all the smoke around. I just thought it was a funny little feature that I added. And what I really liked about my bedroom design is cauldrons make such a nice ceiling, and people never really notice how nice it could look having cauldrons as a ceiling, but it is very expensive if you're playing on Minecraft without Iron Farm. This is a very old Warren Hex logo that Corey ended up creating. Over here would have been MW3 Shots, aka H's room. And over here behind the mask of paintings would have been Corey's room, aka Blue Morpho. So this would have been the world created on that survival world, but sadly it did not continue, so you guys never got a chance to see this build until today. After that build, I think, yeah. So after that build, I created this castle on a survival world. This castle was made in a ice biome. So I decided to make this castle, and then I started to build houses around it, such as this one and that one over there. And just outside, like wall we had on the outside, we had to enter the space where the castle was, which I didn't implement in this world because, let's face it, there's not really many places a single wall can go. Just outside, I did have this windmill, and all this section here I terraformed on survival. So this was done completely on survival, all this terraforming you see here. So like I said, I made this windmill, this castle, this house, and the house you see over there on that world. And on the same world, I also ended up including this clock tower. The story behind the clock tower is the fact that it's looking like a village on that world. So so I was like thinking of like England, kind of like medieval kind of times, and like how they got Big Ben. So I decided to make a clock tower. This was made, like I said, completely on survival. So this watchtower, that castle, took me forever to make, and this castle was the first thing that I built on that server. So there was a lot of mining done before I started the castle. I also forgot to mention, probably because it's on it's not on the same level as all the other houses. On the same world, I built this house. I also built this temple in a YouTube video. You veterans of my channel would have seen myself and Blue Morpho, aka Corey, build this temple as like a speed lapse on my channel. I still think it's really really good, and I spent ages trying to position it perfectly on top of this hill, and I think I did a fairly good job with that. And then I decided, I got bored and decided to just randomly start placing blocks, and then came out with this design. It was around about the time where the release of the brand new Xbox and the PS5 came out, and I find it funny that without realizing, I kind of got inspired by the PS5, and it kind of looks like this window. I don't know if I still find it quite funny that that window kind of started looking like a PS5, but this build alone I think took me 24 hours to do. So a lot of time does go into these builds, and you can just get a feel for the scale on the inside of this build. It is ridiculous. And with ray tracing, it just looks amazing with the lighting from all the glass coming through. I love the ray tracing texture pack. So that was this build, and then last but not least would have been for the newer members of my channel. You might recognize the inside of this house. This is my shop on the Vorencraft series that I was doing. This is my house on that Vorencraft series, and this is the most recent build I did on that Vorencraft series, which would have been the Town Hall where we all, myself, Blue, Morpho, MW3 Shots aka H, and Will would have all met up, which funny enough is the last build I've done on Minecraft, unless you class this entire world. That would have been my my last build. Also, I've been told this looks like a shopping mart, so if anyone knows how to do interior and would like a challenge of turning that into a shopping mart, please contact me in the comments, because I do have plans for the future of this world. I've been discussing plans with Corey, H, and some friends I've met on Twitch, so hopefully you guys will see a lot more of this world in the future. But for right now, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. It has taken a lot, and I mean a lot, of mental energy to do, but I was determined to get this project done for you guys, just so you can see how my builds have progressed from the very start of when I started Minecraft, just to try and inspire you guys that are like, oh yeah, I'm shit at Minecraft, I could never build like that. Just like we've all been there, we've all had to start somewhere. But if you just carry on trying and keep on building, eventually you'll get to a building point that you are satisfied. But like I said, I do hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and if you're at all new to my channel, please consider subscribing. At 200 subscribers, you'll be able to fix one of my 2 lazy eyes, which, you know, might speed up the process of me doing another project like this. I hope it does, because this has taken me literally 2 months to do. And I will catch you all later. Peace.
Lost in fun if you have no